Daddy.
You just bought in, right?
That's what they call it.
I know.
All in?
All in.
I do enjoy playing tournaments, but mostly online, which is why you don't see a lot vlogged on this channel, at least so far. Anyways, today I do decide to go for the Parq Daily, which is a $90 tourney. I start out really well the first few levels. I hit some hands and get value from slightly weaker. I go for a couple bluffs that get through, and I manage to build a nice stack before the first break. Alright, so right now I am at Parq playing the daily tourney for $90 and on my first big break right now. And yeah, so just made myself a cup of coffee. Not a lot of interesting spots. I mean, there were like smaller pots where I picked up and lost some as well. I recorded one to share, which I'll load up anytime right now. So at this point, the blinds are 5,100. All right. So and this is like pretty near the beginning of the session, beginning of the tourney. So I have like around 10,000 chips, which is really close to starting. I pick up pocket kings under the gun. Okay. And I raise it to 300. So, and then I get 4 callers. Okay, so which is a cutoff button and the big blind. Okay, or sorry, 3 callers, 4-handed. Okay, so 4-handed into a flop of 8-7 deuce rainbow. Big blind checks. Yeah, so really good flop for kings. Just super dry board, and I'm just gonna target, I guess, any straight draws and 8x right here. So I bet around like almost pot size, 1,000. Cutoff folds. Button tanks for a little bit and then calls. All right. Big blind jams all in for 1,700. So like another 700. So easy call for me, and then button calls. All right. So turn is another 7 pairing the board, and basically the button has less than pot size bet left. I just jam all in. Seeing that he tanked, I'm thinking he is 8x. But yeah, I mean 7x is possible for the trips, but yeah, at this depth, I just had to pay him off, really, right? If he did hit the trips, but I go all in here hoping he would pay me off with 8x, and he tanks, and then he calls. So the river is an 8, and that's not a good card, but we all table our hands. And yeah, button has ace deuce clubs, so I beat him, and then big blind just had a straight draw. So yeah, this pretty early hand into the tourney, I knocked out 2 people. So after that, there was one big hand where I flopped the full house. Someone else turned a nut flush. So that was a big hand, but it was just really a cooler, and I got lucky. So managed to double up my stack through that. So now I have a really decent stack. Looking around, I think I am probably second chip leader right now. Yeah, so just gonna enjoy my coffee break right now, and then get back to it and see how it goes, and I will keep you guys posted. After the break, I keep the momentum going. I continue to build my stack and go into level 7 with 57,000 chips, a very healthy stack. That is when I run into my first pre-flop all-in. I have ace-king against 2 other players that I cover. One has ace-10, and the other has pocket 5s. Pocket 5s ends up holding, and I go into level 8 with a dent. All right, reporting on my second break right now, and yeah, my chip stack has kind of dwindled. Got into some spots that didn't turn out well for me. I doubled someone up with I had ace king, and then villain had pocket fives, and it was pre-flop all in, so lost a flip there. And yeah, my chip stack right now is I think 30 something K, which is not good. But anyways, one of the interesting hands that I documented to share with you guys. So at this point, I'm in the big blind. Blinds are 500, 1,000 with 1,000 big blind ante. All right. So under the gun calls, +1 calls, and everyone folds to the button who also calls. Small blind folds. And I pick up, 9 queen of clubs, and I just check to see a flop here. Okay, four-handed, and flop comes 10-5 king with 2 spades and 1 club. I check. Under the gun bets out 1,600, so a pretty small bet. +1 calls. Button folds. So right now I have a gut shot and backdoor flush. So out of position, to a small bet, I think this is a pretty good price to peel a flop. And if I run into a situation where there's a good scare card or I pick up extra equity, there's potential there, right? So I call the peel. Turn is a 10 of clubs. So this is actually, at the moment, I think it's like the perfect turn scare card, right? So I pick up the extra equity I'm looking for. And I just never think under the gun is betting basically into 3 people without a king, right? Multi-way. +1 calling 10 would be pretty light as well. So he like I'm just putting both of them basically king X and the other spade draw is like the most likely scenario. So when a 10 comes, like I could rep 10x most like credibly right now. So that's what I decided to do. Now I bet out 4,000, and I go with the sizing because if I don't see like a raise at this street, basically I can be pretty sure that no one has 10x, and depending on what the river is, if it's like a non-spade, I can bomb those rivers and take it down, or I can also hit my outs, right? Under the gun jams all in. So +1 tanks and then folds, and then at this point I can't call that, so I end up folding. So it didn't turn out well for me for this pot, among some other pots, and chip stack has dwindled down a bit, and I'm gonna head back right now, and hopefully I can build it back up and see how that goes.
After the second break, I go into level 9 with around 31,000 chips, which is not great. A pivotal hand happens where I run into a preflop all-in with pocket 10s against pocket queens. I lose almost everything with 1 big blind left. But then I triple up with that and barely make it to the final table. And then after that...
Alright, so now reporting, just busted, made it to the final table, but didn't have a lot of chips left, just like a few BBs. And the hand that I got busted out of, I got it in with ace-7 suited, and got called with jack-queen offsuit. So go to a run out, looking good, and then river is queen. And I'm out of the tourney. So overall, was a lot of fun. Pre-flop all-ins were not great for me this session. So I lost all my pre-flop all-ins. So I got ace king once against ace 10 and pocket 5s, 3-way all-in. I lost that one. I had pocket 10s and then ran into pocket queens. So lost that one, and then of course the last one that busted out. So that's pretty much it. And right now I am just waiting to play either 1-3 or 2-5. I'll see whatever comes first. And yeah.
I have a little bit of time to kill before I need to leave. So with a seat open for 1-3, I sit down to play a short session. This hand, I pick up pocket aces in the low jack position, under the gun, and +1 limps. I raise it up to $25. Only the button and under the gun calls. It's 3-way into a flop of 10-5 deuce with 2 spades and 1 heart. Under the gun checks to me. Very good flop for my hand, disconnected, and the suits on board match the ones I have with my aces. So with draws not too likely, I decide to just target 10x for 3 streets. I start with a c-bet for $35, and everyone folds. This hand, I pick up King Jack in the small blind. The low jack opens to $15. Only the cutoff calls before the action folds to me. Against a relatively late open and cold caller, I decide that this is a good spot to 3-bet squeeze with my hand. I can rep pocket jacks, pocket kings, and also blocking ace king. I should be able to fold out a lot of ace highs. I 3-bet to $60. Everyone folds except for the cutoff, the cold caller, who calls. It's heads up into a flop of 10-9 deuce with 2 diamonds. The flop doesn't really hit my range, but it's actually not bad for my hand. 2 overs and a gut shot, and I guess backdoor to the second nut flush as well. That's pretty decent equity. I take a quick peek at the villain's stack and see that he only has around a pot-sized bet left. I think the best play here is just to put max pressure on him. I go all in. This way I'll realize my own equity as well as maximize fold equity against hands like ace high or low pocket pairs. And the villain folds. This hand, I pick up pocket kings on the button. There are 3 limpers before the action folds to me. I raise it to $30. Only the hijack calls. It's heads up into a flop of Jack 8-7 rainbow. The villain checks. My overpair is likely good here, as there aren't a lot of 2-pair combos that make too much sense, but the flop isn't in my range. I think this is a good spot to check back and under-rep my hand. I think the villain will likely have a piece of the flop here in his late position limp calling range, so I can potentially induce a bet from him to commit his stack. Something else to note, this villain is the same one from the previous hand, where I 3-bet and then put him all in. He just reloaded. So I think there is a higher chance he might also just be impatient with me and commit wider than he should. I check back. The turn is a 6, which is essentially a break. The villain now bets out $55. I'm mostly putting him on a pair plus straight draw type hand. With his stack behind, I think now is the time to force him to commit. I go all in, and the villain folds. This hand, I pick up ace queen of clubs in the small blind. There's a button straddle to $6. I call. The big blind folds. Under the gun calls. The action folds to the low jack, who raises to $20. Everyone folds except for myself and under the gun, as we both call. It's 3-way into a flop of queen 10-7 with 2 diamonds. Awesome flop for me hitting top pair, but I am out of position in a multi-way draw-heavy board. Checking to start is a pretty valid option. One villain has a shorter stack, who I'll gladly get it all in with. The other villain in the low jack, the pre-flop aggressor, is pretty deep with a stack size similar to mine. So I do have to proceed cautiously, out of position. I decide to lead out with a bet of $30. Ideal scenario is folding out the low jack, and I can play out the rest of the hand with the under the gun short stack, who will likely commit with draws or queen X. Under the gun folds, and the low jack calls, which is the exact opposite of what I was hoping for. The turn is the 9 of hearts. The board is now more connected, with 2 flush draws as well. I decide to check and try to navigate the showdown. I'm probably in the lead at the moment, but he can be calling the flop with ace king, ace jack, or diamond draw. Out of position, I don't want to bloat the pot. Depending on the run out, I could potentially target queen king for a value bet on the river, or go for a check call like bluff catching line. The villain checks back. The turn is the six of diamonds. Not a great card. The diamond draw, which I unblock, gets there. There's also a 4-card straight on board now. None of us should have an 8 in this spot, but it just means I'm not getting value with top pair, as there's no weaker hand to target that can call. So I think check calling is the best move here. I check. The villain checks back. I table my hand, and he mucks. Here are my results for the day. Tournament was a bust, so that's minus $90. For the 1-3 cash session, right after, it was very short but profitable. I bought in for $500 and cashed out for $750. That is a profit of $250. And that brings my total bankroll to this number you see right here. So there are a few things I want to address, just some channel things. Since I hit the bad beat jackpot a few episodes ago, feel free to check that one out. I have received some messages and a couple comments with suggestions that I should count my jackpot win towards my bankroll in this challenge, that I should just immediately move up in stakes. And someone even suggested I should just end the challenge series here, making it a documented speed run from 0 to 100k, which is a pretty cool finish. So I will not be ending the challenge, just simply because for now I want to stick with it and follow through with it. I could very well still fail the challenge, by losing my bankroll, or just deciding to give up on it for whatever reason. Now, some of you have told me to add my jackpot win to my bankroll with some really good points. I did win it from playing poker, and I've been paying the rake for the jackpot. So technically, this is just an extreme high variance occurrence, right? From poker nonetheless. So why wouldn't I add it to my poker bankroll challenge? All of those are really valid points. The reason I decided not to is that one of the functions of the challenge was to share this journey of bankroll building with the few of you who actually still care and are still following. I've been tracking the sessions. When the challenge inevitably ends, I've always planned to, at the end of it, share and review some data with you guys, much like another previous episode where I shared some stats 1 month into the challenge, hours played, win rate, ROI, etc., just for reference, what's attainable through playing poker and gradually climbing up in stakes. I feel including this super skewed point of data would defeat that function. So which is the reason I am not including it. And as for moving up in stakes, that was always part of the plan. So I will be doing that, but aligning with what I feel is appropriate with the bankroll I'm building for this challenge. I'm at the point where I would hop in 2-5 games when I get a chance. Oh, and even with that, there has been a lot of different opinions on what is deemed proper bankroll management, how much money you need to have to play certain stakes. I think it's really cool that different approaches work for different people. I don't know if I need to make this clear, but this channel is not advice for any of that. But my opinion is, not that anyone asked, just do whatever you want with your money. Like buy in for whatever stakes that you're comfortable with playing based on whatever your risk tolerance is, right? Yeah, pretty trivial take, right? There's this common formula some people love to use or suggest, which is that you shouldn't buy in a cash session for more than 5% of your bankroll. Some would even say lower than that. Now, the buy-in for 1-3 here is $500. I really don't think that most people who play 1-3 have $10,000 plus like to spare as their poker bankroll. Like, I might be wrong, but based on that logic, like everyone playing 1-3 is technically like shot taking, right? But hey, for anyone who feels like you need to save up $10,000 just to play 1-3, like good on you. If that's the approach that works for you. And that is it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please remember to like and subscribe. And I hope you guys look forward to the next.